Welcome to the Management Advantage, where we want to help you gain the advantage through proper land management. With your hosts, Richard Tharp and Chuck Sykes, who are dedicated to sound wildlife management practices and principles that will help both landowners and sportsmen get the optimum potential from their land. Folks, we would like to hear from you concerning any questions or comments you may have for us. You can reach us through our website at www.wildlife-management.com. We will be looking forward to hearing from you.
Well, this is a spot.
Man, I tell you, I love this tree. Isn't it beautiful?
It produces a bunch of acorns every year, and we always do real well during bow season.
Oh, it is gorgeous. Welcome to the Management Advantage. On last week's show, we told you we were going to discuss supplemental feeding.
And today, that's just what we're going to do. It's February, all the leaves are gone. Thank goodness hunting season's out. It like to wore me out this year.
I heard that.
And everybody would like to take a break from hunting season, but if you're going to manage your wildlife, February the 1st in Alabama's the time to start.
Yeah, basically, hunting is a year-round project.
And from the end of hunting season through spring greenup in March, that's when everything is stressed the most. There's nothing for them to eat out there, so that's when you really need to start kicking in your feeding program, and that involves your supplemental feeding, like putting out the soybean feeders and feeding up and down the road. But what we also want to show you today is how to place salt licks as well as fertilize your native vegetation before the spring greenup. And that's what Rick's going to show you how to do right now, is get a bucket, some triple 13, and fertilize that big oak tree.
Folks, today we're going to use a product called triple 13. Now you'll see a lot of folks want to take their fertilizer and just throw it at the base of a tree. And that's something that you just really don't want to do.
No, especially on these big oak trees. They have a lot of feeder roots out around what's called the drip line. You look in the canopy of the tree, and wherever the limbs stop, that's where you want to fertilize. And those studies now are even showing that they might have feeder roots 200 or 300 yards away from that tree. So just go out, scatter it evenly, just like we did on the chufa field. Just get a good even spacing of your fertilizer around here. And any little bit you can do will help. For a tree this size, I like to put at least 100 pounds out here.
So basically what you're saying, just find where the outer part of the tree is and go around that and make a good
scattering.
spread.
And that's it. Nothing scientific, just 5-gallon bucket, and you can go to it.
All right, well, let me see if I can't start on this one. One of the things Chuck likes to do is, while he's out making his rounds, is he'll flag these trees for me that needs fertilizing. This is a persimmon tree, and as you can tell by this picture, last fall it didn't produce very well. So what we want to do this time is go ahead and fertilize it, so maybe by this coming fall it'll produce a whole lot better. And remember, here again, we don't want to throw it at the base of the tree. We want to try to get it here around the drip line. Now, one of the advantages of a place like this is we have honeysuckle and greenbrier, so I'm killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Take a look at what a little triple 13 did for the production of this tree. The limbs are nearly breaking, the fruit is putting out, and it's well worth your time and effort.
Another big portion of your feeding program is increasing the protein and the food value content in your native vegetation. So what I'm going to do today is I'm just going to put some triple 13 fertilizer in my little hopper. And I'm going to go up and down some of these roads in these planted pines, and where I've got good patches of honeysuckle, I'm going to fertilize the honeysuckle up and down these roads. It'll bump your protein content from 6 to 8% up to 16 to 18%, which is what they need for best antler development. And not only will it increase the food value of it, but it increases the quantity of it. But be careful when you fertilize your honeysuckle. Don't fertilize all of it. If you've got a patch twice as long as this golf cart, fertilize half of it, because a lot of times they'll eat it down into the ground. So you need to preserve your root stock. Another thing you can do is you can put, like build some wooden sawhorses and put some chicken wire over it. Fertilize that real good, and the deer can only eat what comes out of that chicken wire. So be careful when you're fertilizing. It's good, but you got to use your head or you can destroy your root crop.
This is your salt lick.
This is my salt lick.
Just pour it over it.
Just pour it over it.
Boy, well, you know, I've got a lot of friends, they dig a hole or just settle a salt lick out. And this looks like this would work a whole lot better.
Well, I mean, it'll work putting just a regular old block out.
Yeah.
But they don't utilize it as quick. They're not going to go up there and take a big bite out of that salt block. They're going to wait till it absorbs in the ground. So putting it on this stump, just old regular granulated salt, it absorbs in this stump, and they'll actually come up and eat the stump away.
You can see where they chewed on it.
Oh yeah, and they've been in here fighting.
You got hair here. Yeah, it had to be fighting. But I mean, you can actually see where they've been chewing on it, digging it up.
Well, and over time, I've got some that we'll go take a look at in a minute that started out as a stump, and now it's just a big hole in the ground. They will eventually eat this stump up. Because we put about 100 pounds of salt on it a year. We'll put 50 pounds out in February and March, right before the spring green up, because all the new growth sucks a lot of salt out of their body, so they have to replenish it. And then we'll go back in again right before the does drop fawns in August, July and August, because when they start lactating and suckling those fawns, it takes a lot out of it. So if you're putting 100 pounds of salt out on this stump, as many tracks as coming in, you know it's a bunch of deer using, eventually they're going to get it. They're going to eat it up.
So basically you're saying twice a year, and what were you using? Say 50-pound bag?
Just a 50-pound bag of granulated salt that you can get in any feed and seed store.
Well, I figured what, a good rain and this will be all gone in the ground.
It'll soak into the stump, it'll soak into the ground, and they'll come up and lick around the stump and lick on the ground. And the reason I have it in this food plot, right in the edge of it, is it keeps them coming all year. Not only are they coming in the winter, fall, winter, and spring to eat the grass, but it keeps them coming during the summer so they get acclimated to this field. This is home. They have to come here because there's something there for them every month out of the year.
I notice you got it right here in the edge of the field. I guess they can feel safe, jump in, jump back out.
They don't have to get right out in the middle and eat in it. Right here, back in the woods, they've got their salt. They can go on back about their business.
How long has it been since you put the salt out here?
I put this out last week, and you see we got about 3 inches of rain on it the other day, and it's already beginning to melt into the ground and melt into the stump, and they've been in it since the rain.
Well, you can call that a stump if you want. That's all that's left. I mean, this was just level.
This was level ground with a stump sitting here. But now this lick's probably been here 15 years.
Good gracious. Well, and here again, you're back to the thing. They know it's here, they're used to it, and if you manage this area right, you've got generation after generation.
Right, we got great grandyoungins coming in to following great grandma to come in and eat this salt. So it just trains them to come in, and we're right along the edge of another food plot.
Well, I've never seen a hole dug this deep by just deer.
Well, I promise you, if you keep the salt out, put it out twice a year just like we're talking about, over time it will happen. Now, as you can see, this is not an overnight thing. It takes a while, but they will do it.
Well, I'm impressed. I tell you what, it's what it takes, just some salt.
That's it.
Don't go away. Chuck and Rick will be right back.
Look at that, there's a shed.
Yep, those little old bucks are using that feeder. That's good. That's exactly what we want to see. Well, you have found your first shed antler. It was hard to see too, wasn't it?
I almost found one. You beat me to it the other day.
Folks, what we want to talk about now is a very, very important tool to wildlife management, and that's the supplemental feeding program with our soybean feeders. And you can tell from that shed Rick just picked up, that's a little yearling buck that's coming in. He is starting to feed on those beans just as soon as he drops his antler. So he is going to be getting 30 to 40% protein from day one on his antler production. Now, deer in the South need 17 to 25% crude protein and at least 65 to 70% digestible nutrients for maximum antler production. Now, those beans that we're going to put in there, they're 30 to 40% protein and 65 to 80% digestible nutrients. So we doubling what they need.
Well, I've talked to a lot of people, and matter of fact, I was talking to a gentleman the other day, and they were talking about their hunting club was putting in food plots and this kind of stuff before season to hunt over and all. And I told him, I said, you're seeing deer on your food plots. I said, but you're missing the prime time for antler growth.
Right. Most people, they just think about planting and feeding during the winter where they can hunt over it. Well, the time to do it is right now.
When they drop that rack.
He needs it from day one. So putting these soybeans out, and we've got all kind of supplements, pellets, pelletized food that's got good protein content in it. All you got to do is check on the label, but that main range of what they need is what you need to try to give them.
Yeah, this is a year-round job.
Let me get a sack and we'll put that in there.
My first one.
And because I can't be around my feeder 24 hours a day, I still like to know what's coming to them. So the way I solve this problem is I put a cam tracker up on my feeder. That lets me know what is actually eating my beans. Is it raccoons and predators like that, or is it good stuff like deer and turkeys? Come on and go with me and go over here and show you on another one of my feeders how I like to set my cam tracker up to record what's eating my beans. All right, brochure says you want to set up 30 feet away from what you're wanting to film. I like to get a little bit closer. It doesn't give me enough detail at 30 feet, so I'm going to set this about 10 feet away from the feeder. I've already got my camera set, take pictures every 3 minutes. So all I got to do is load my film. So there it goes, winding, she's ready to roll. I got it set on a continuous 24 hours a day setting, and it takes a picture every 3 minutes when the sensor's been passed in front of. Open the lens up, that way I can focus in on what I'm looking at the feeder. It's got 2 little pieces of hay string. I'm gonna wrap it around the tree like this. Get it fairly snug, and then you have to look down through your sight window right here, just like you were taking a picture, and get it lined up where you can have the feeder in focus. All right, now I got it real snug. I got it where I want it. And you want to put your phone back over the top of it where you can see down in there and check, see how many exposures you've got left. Put this cover over it, keep all the moisture out. And I even have this bracket that fits on there in case you're not on private property. You get that locked on there, you can put a lock or a chain in it and chain it to the tree where can't anybody take your cam tracker away. Now, push this button right here, and she's activated, and we'll come back tomorrow and see how many pictures we got. In addition to our soybean feeders, which mainly target deer, but it does help with the turkey and quail population, I like to feed up and down our road system with our easy-go workhorse and a small spreader. Now you can use a large tractor and a large spreader, but I like this workhorse because it can take me in and out of tight places, and I can twist and wind around through our property and set up a nice feeding course for our quail and turkeys. Now with our deer, we can feed in those feeder boxes in certain areas because predation is not really a factor on whitetail deer in our area. But if you feed in certain areas, certain feeding stations, and with our upland birds like turkeys and quail, you tend to congregate predators as well as you do the birds that you're intending to feed. So what I like to do is space out my course and feed over several hundred or even 1,000 acres, small amounts at a time. This lets the birds range freely through their territory, step out of cover, feed a little bit, and get back into the cover. It does not leave them exposed. If you feed your turkeys or your quail in one spot, it will congregate predators like owls, hawks, coyotes and bobcats, which are going to take a toll on your breeding population. I like to pick areas up and down my food plots through the big thin pines that do have cover, especially for the quail, where they can ease in and out, get plenty to eat, and get back to safety without being exposed for long periods of time.
Well, as you can tell by all the turkey scratching in this row, Chuck's feeding plan is really paying off. So come go with Chuck and Mr. Bill Nunn as they go on an early spring turkey hunt in East Alabama.
All right, Mr. Bill, he's turning around. You better go on and get your gun up. You better hurry up and shoot. He's already seen you. You better hurry up and shoot. You better hurry up and shoot. Shoot him. I didn't think you was ever gonna shoot that turkey. I didn't think you was ever gonna shoot that turkey.
Well, I had to get him behind that bush.
Well, I thought he was gonna come on in behind us.
Yeah.
But
We got him.
you turned him around.
That's right.
Boy, the turkeys sure have been scratching in here.
Oh yeah, it's so beautiful. Dogwoods are blooming.
Yep, it's just about full bloom. That means about another week they'll be in full, and that means the turkeys will be gobbling at their peak.
I love this time of year. It's my favorite time of year, but not only the turkeys, but the crappie, or as some of my friends like to call them, crappie or white perch, but they're biting. I mean, it's beautiful. Alabama is beautiful this time of year.
Ain't nothing like turkey hunting. Nothing like it. And I've been hunting with Mr. Bill for about 6 years, and I guess he's about like my granddaddy. I love going with him. Poor thing, he can't hear it thunder, and he won't wear his hearing aids. I don't think he's heard a turkey gobble in 6 years, so I have to sit right there with him and keep him turned and all that, but it's a lot of fun. He's just like a kid. He enjoys it. He goes every day.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, the main star of that show was the turkey.
Hey, he put on a show for us. That's what he was supposed to do. Folks, we hope you enjoyed this week's show. Tune in next week as we take our feeding program one step further and show you the 5 components that I look for when placing a winter food plot. We're going to have a treat for you also. We're going to show you Dave Strauss of Gander Mountain taking his first whitetail buck.
And folks, as always, we're here to help you gain the advantage through proper management. See you next time on the Management Advantage.
Folks, we would like to hear from you concerning any questions or comments you may have for us. You can reach us through our website at www.wildlife-management.com. We will be looking forward to hearing from you.
You said that there was at least 2 or 3 strutting turkeys up there, and there was 1 gobbling in front of us. And at least 2 right there. All I saw was 2, but man, he put on a show this morning. I didn't think he was going to come back, and they went over that hill, but saw that old blue head coming back.
That's right.
Well,
Made me sort of nervous.
it made me real nervous because I didn't know if you was going to get your gun up on him. When he putted and started walking off, I was saying, shoot him, Mr. Bill, shoot him.